Hey, this is Marcus Washington, 3 to Make 2, our NBA podcast here. We're going to start with the Jimmy Butler situation and why I am one of the few who thinks Miami got what they asked for. You knew in reality, and we're going to talk reality, brass business reality. No different than any other business and how it works, particularly in this country. You knew what the reaction was going to be when you didn't give Jimmy Butler the extension. Now, do I blame you for not giving Butler the extension? No, I don't blame you. I wouldn't have extended Butler either. I think Miami was completely correct in not extending Butler. But when you made that decision, you have also made the decision that you're trading Jimmy Butler. That's what comes with it. That's what comes with it. Any industry, when you have talent, in any industry, it can be in the IT world, it can be in the federal contracting world, it doesn't matter. It's not just athletics. The talented people have more leverage than the regular people. The talented people can impact things more than regular people. And Jimmy Butler can, even though his talent is declining, can impact this. So this is why we are, where Jimmy Butler has an indefinite suspension. But I don't feel sorry for the Heat, because the Heat did this to themselves. They believe in this Heat culture thing. It's not a Heat culture. You won those titles because you had LeBron, Bosh, Allen. You had those guys. Wade. That's why you won the title. If Pat Riley was that much of a genius and that much a culture guy, he wouldn't have quit on the Knicks when he couldn't beat Mike, which is what Riley did. He quit on the Knicks when he couldn't beat Mike. So I don't want to hear anything about toughness from Pat Riley, because he was a coward and faxed his way out of New York. Okay? Mark Cuban will tell you the referees blew the whistle to that first title for the Heat in the infamous D-Wade parade to the free throw line. So let's stop with the Heat culture thing. If you thought you were going to beat Jimmy down into just subjugating himself, then your fault for lying to yourself. You knew he wasn't. So instead of losing the season and going through all this stuff, when you said, I'm not going to give you an extension, you should have just traded him. It's common sense. It's business. It's adult. That's how adult real businesses work. Hey man, I know this guy is going to be angry with me, or this woman's going to be angry with me when they don't get this promotion, or they get a 3% raise and they think they should get a 10% raise. And I understand the flip side to that is losing them. Those are the things that you trade off. It happens every day. Okay, so my eyes, the whole Jimmy Butler situation, it's on the Heat and it's on their ego. The Philadelphia 76ers have been backed in the corner by their guy, Daryl Morey, who went all in on Paul George. After, all these things have happened, whether it was with Ben Simmons or it's with James Harden, there's always an excuse for Daryl Morey. Well, there's no more excuses. The Philadelphia 76ers are 17-27. Joel Embiid did not become off injured Joel Embiid 15 minutes ago. He's been off injured Joel Embiid since he's been at Kansas. So you knew what you were getting in that. You let Daryl Morey do Daryl Morey things. And it's the reason why this is going crazy. Now, people will say, well, what about their record in the lottery and stuff like that? Remember, if they aren't in the bottom six, then OKC gets the pick. So the 76ers right now are 11th in the East and 23rd in the league. So they're not in the bottom six. They have no intentions of tanking into the bottom six. So unless it happens organically, then probably that pick is going to OKC. Okay, so again, Daryl Morey has backed another organization in the corner, and Daryl Morey's doing Daryl Morey things. And none of these Daryl Morey things are going to work. Because completely healthy, they're still not better than the Cavs. Completely healthy, they're still not better than the Celtics. Completely healthy, you can make an argument that they're still not better than the Knicks. Okay, so Philadelphia has been suckered down the Daryl Morey path, where they're not going to get what they think they're going to get. And they're going to stay with Daryl Morey until Morey ruins the organization. And he's already well on his way to doing that. Houston is 31-14 with a win last night over the Boston Celtics on a last-second shot from Amen Thompson. The narrative of the Rockets have changed, and it's changed when they added vets Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet to the young players like Thompson, like Jabari Smith, like Jalen Green, like Alperen Sengun, and those guys. And, of course, we cannot forget that the Rockets lucked up into Ime Udoka because of an unfortunate incident in Boston. All of this was coming off the heels of having Stephen Silas kind of take the growing pains. In his first year, there were 17 wins. I think in Silas' second year was 20, and then it went to 22 before the Rockets pivoted to Udoka and changed the timeline. I think what you see in Houston is something that Washington should be looking at. Washington has a group of young guys, just like Houston did, that they want to heavily invest in, right? But they went out and got some veterans to put around them. I'm not going to talk about the coaching situation because I don't think it's fair to go in here and suggest that Brian Keefe should be let go or anything like that. But you can see a pathway that the Wizards could use in the Houston Rockets. Now, those young guys you're investing in, they have to pay off, and whomever you add to that group this year, which right now Washington can easily end up with a top 3 pick, top 5 pick, if not the top pick of the draft. But the Houston Rockets is something worth watching. To go from the 17 to 20 to 22 to Udoka's first year being 500 to now being second in the West. This is not supposed to happen in the NBA, right? You're supposed to have to get a bunch of stars and put them together and all this sort of stuff. And look what Houston's doing. I think part of this is how the CBA, the last CBA going into this CBA, is working. And if for the NBA governors, this is probably part of what they were trying to achieve, is stories like this. And part of it is lucking into Udoka after the things he did in Boston. And that cannot be ignored, because I don't know if Houston is Houston under a different coach. So the Rockets are worth watching, and the Rockets are worth keeping an eye on to see what they do to close out the season and what they do in the playoffs. Thank you for joining us for 3 to Make 2. It's Marcus Washington, MTC Media.